back to this channel, co-creators. It is mysticrainn, your resident internet psychic medium and spiritual advisor, and today we are re-recording my second predictions video since the last one didn't go as planned. Before we jump in, if you would like to book a session with me, a coaching session, a spiritual hour with me, the links for that is in the description box below. If you would like a birth chart reading, a compatibility chart reading, all of that, the links for that is in the description box below. Also, your girl is like now somehow an Amazon influencer. What? And so I now have an Amazon storefront. And so while creating the storefront, I thought really hard about the things that you guys would like to see. So you guys oftentimes ask me for like tarot card recommendations, book recommendations, and I don't have time to get to each and every one of you individually. So what I did with the Amazon storefront, I curated lists of everything that I own and everything that I like, because not everything that I own is up there, right? But things that I like, things that I use, books that I like that I think are really helpful for your spiritual journey, books that I've read, right? All of that is in the description box below. So if you click the link and straight to my Amazon storefront, you'll know exactly what it is that I use. mysticrainn approved, mysticrainn used, and nobody come for me over this Amazon thing. I understand that we're supposed to have a problem with Jeff, but I would be lying to you if I didn't let you know that half of the stuff I own is from Amazon, and I'm not going to do that up here on the internet. I'm not going to sit here and get righteous about Amazon. It is what it is. Yes, because I'm now an affiliate with Amazon. If you do purchase anything, I do earn some money, okay? Not much, but something. So you guys know, all right? So in a spirit of transparency, there you go. So look, I tried to do this already, and it just didn't work out for me. I recorded a predictions video, and then it was uploaded, and about 100 of you guys saw it. And when I checked the comments, it was all like, we can't hear, and it turns out I had lost the audio. To this day, I don't know what happened, and couldn't go back to the raw file because that one was completely damaged. I have no idea what happened. And I thought about it for a minute, and a week has gone by since I tried to do it, because every time I try to do anything prediction related, that's the time I have issues. And it's happened too with my podcast. So anytime I try to do predictions related, I always have technical difficulties every single time. Whether it's video, whether it's audio, maybe I keep the audio, but the audio is distorted. Maybe the video shuts off halfway through. I don't know, but I've always had a really hard time getting predictions out. And so, and those are really the only times I have issues with videos. Now, from time to time, other things pop up, but that's usually the thing that's going to give me hell, right? Is trying to upload predictions. And so I thought about it for a minute. I was like, like maybe they're not supposed to go up. Maybe spirit is telling me to shut my mouth. Like maybe this is not time for the collective to hear it. And so then I didn't do anything with it. I just kind of sat there and uploaded nothing for a week, as I was like, let me just sit with self for a minute to figure out if this is the right thing to do. And so I decided that I was going to try to re-record it, hence this video. And if I can record the video and it goes up, then it's meant to go out. If I try to record it and we have issues again, then it's not supposed to go out. And if that happens, then I will drop it. Yes, luckily I do have notes. So I'm going to read over my notes. The issue is, you guys, when I do a lot of these predictions, half of the video is channeled. I have things that I've channeled prior to, and then I'll write those down as notes. And so that's what I have, which has saved me. But half the time, half the stuff that comes out of my mouth is channeled at that moment while recording. And so I don't remember everything that I said, and I don't have the audio either. And I also didn't feel like sitting there trying to read my lips for 20 minutes. And so I just kind of let it go. But we will start from the beginning. Number one, the love frequency kicks in, you guys. Okay, so here is the thing. We are actually like soaring through that whole like great divide, shifting consciousness. We are there, baby. The love frequency is starting to kick in, and is starting to kick in pretty heavy. And probably surprisingly, it's not going to mean what you think it's going to mean. what's really going to happen is that it's going to cause a lot more strife and a lot more issues between people. The reason for this is because the love frequency is kicking in, people are going to start to come back in tune with sort of like their own personal code of morals and ethics, and they're going to fight harder when they feel like something is wrong or something is going against that moral code of ethics. Everyone's moral code of ethics will be different. Some people will have some sort of alignment there, right? But for the most part, everyone's in a space where they're trying to figure out self and what self feels about different things and what self believes is right and what self believes is wrong. And because of that, there's going to be a lot more headbutting as people move more so into that space, because there's two issues here. One of the issues, well, it's not really an issue, it's a gift, but it's going to be a challenge for people moving into that for the first time, is that not only are you in a place where you're reestablishing your moral code and ethics, you are then going to be put in positions where you're going to have to honor that. It's almost like the universe is saying, like, so be about it, right? Like, are you about it? Like, okay, you're talking the talk, now walking the walk. You're going to be put in situations with the universe where the universe is going to challenge you, like, girl, like, do it, do something. Like, that thing that you said you believe in, like, make it happen. Right? And so you're going to have a lot of situations where you're going to be feeling like you're in a situation where you're going to have to use your voice and stand up for things a lot more than what you felt in the past. And everyone's going to be doing that. And people are going to be coming from a place that they genuinely think is the right thing to do. But because of that, there's going to be a lot of conflict. So that's one thing, that love frequency starts to kick in. Okay, so the next thing we have is rolling blackouts. There are going to be a lot of blackouts that are going to start happening, and it's not going to be in places that you think they were going to happen in. You would think that they would happen in like our poor countries and our poorer regions, but it's going to be in like your developed first world countries that are going to start experiencing a lot of blackouts, you guys. And there's going to be a lot of power issues, a lot of power grid issues, and a lot of this is going to start coming in from hacking. Now, here's the funny thing about that. I said a while ago, and I was talking to my sister about this, because sometimes she hears my predictions way sooner than you other guys do, because sometimes I pick up on things that at that time seem so wacky and out of place that, like, I tell her, right? And even though, like, that's my sister, she thinks I'm cuckoo, I just be like, bitch, and then she'd be like, bitch, and then, like, we move on. Versus, like, me going to the internet and saying this. I had sensed this earlier that, like, that was going to be a problem, but I had no way of, like, understanding where it was happening. Like, I was like, well, like, okay, I get it, but, like, where is that coming from, spirit? And then I started to pick up on the fact that, like, hacking was going to be a huge issue. Now, in one of my previous videos about the predictions that I had for 2021, I think it's titled More Predictions for 2021, I told you guys that fraud was going to start to pick up and it's going to be really, really bad. And sure enough, it did. These blackouts primarily are going to be attributed to things like fraud and things like hacking. It's going to be some sort of organized crime blackout. It's not going to be, oh, we had a storm and there's a blackout. And yeah, okay, maybe, you know, Florida gets a hurricane, I don't know, right? And then they have a blackout. But the ones I'm talking about are going to be purposeful, people related, and people hitting certain power grids because they have an additional agenda, right? And if you think about it, it's probably the smartest thing you could do. If you want to take out a government, where do you hit them? You don't hit the White House, you hit the power grid. You hit the structure that controls everything. You hit a structure that controls things like the internet. You stop the power, you stop the internet. You stop the internet, you stop money. And one more thing, we're going to have a lot more hackers, by the way. They're going to go after energy grids, but they're really going to be going after major supply companies, right? And it's going to be supply companies that we don't know of. So the crazy thing about supply companies is that they're these major entities and in commerce and in like capitalism that we don't see because they supply the companies we buy from. So we don't ever actually see the supplier, right? And so most people won't actually know who they are. They're going to be companies that you probably are never going to have heard of, but they're going to be really major companies that make a lot of money. And what's going to happen is if you hit those suppliers, then you hit the people, right? Because the suppliers can't give it to the distributors, and the distributors can't distribute, right? And then your customers can't buy. And so they're going to be going after a lot of the suppliers. And they're going to be like obscure brands that you guys are going to be like, what? Never heard of that. Also, too, we're going to have a lot of fires. And I'm not talking about like California, but like places that shouldn't normally have fires are going to start going up in flames. And so, areas that are susceptible to wildfires are going to have a real rough time. So like, it's going to be particularly drier for those areas, but we're talking about areas that aren't necessarily fire prone. So more like house fires, random business fires, a lot of arson you're going to start kind of seeing pop up. And things spontaneously combusting. Like there's just going to be like woods that go up in flames and nobody really knows how it happens. And the idea is going to be like, well, I don't really get it. Like there's a lot of moisture over here. I don't know really how that happened, but they're just going to go up in flames. So here's the thing with this new divide, Mother Nature is going into a new frequency, right? But in order for us to shift, right? What did I say about what we're currently dealing with as a society? You have to break down the foundation in order to build new stuff. You can't build new stuff, new systems on a broken system. You have to fully get rid of that system, right? So the earth, because the earth is a living energetic entity, right, is also ascending with the collective consciousness, because as the consciousness ascends, the earth have to. If the earth does not ascend with the consciousness, then the consciousness cannot survive on the earth anymore, because at that point, the frequency of both are no longer in alignment because they don't match. So the earth as frequency has to go up as well. So if the earth is dealing with lower frequencies trying to get to a higher frequency, it's important for the earth to wipe out the lower frequency first, right? The earth cannot grow new forests when its current forest is currently contaminated with pesticide, right? You can't grow new healthy trees from grass that is dead. So the earth is going to start going up in flames. There's going to be a lot of fires as it goes to correct this problem. It's going to destroy itself, and that's at least, so it's not destroying itself, it's actually regenerating, right? But what's going to happen is people are going to start freaking out. Next thing you know, oh my God, the earth is ending. We need to go to Mars. We need to colonize another planet. People are going to be freaking out about this, right? What I'm telling you is that it's okay to let it go up in flames, because that's what she has to do in order to regenerate. Going to be a lot of fires. We also have to understand too that the fires are divine and symbolic of burning down sort of everything that we're burning down, right? So if we're burning down all these new paradigms and we're burning down literally buildings at this point, right? Then the earth, again, because it's a frequency thing and the frequencies have to match, the earth will match that shift. So you're going to notice a lot of that. And because of that, too, you're going to notice a lot more volcanic eruptions. We're just going to see volcanoes just going up in flames, like just erupting. Oh my God, there's a volcano in the ocean that we haven't heard about that's going to start erupting. The people are going to start talking about volcanoes. Oh my God, it was dormant. It's the first time it's erupted in yada yada years. Like, that's going to be a thing too, because the earth is going to be letting out the steam. It's going to be letting go of energy that is no longer helpful for what it is that it's trying to do, energy that's no longer helpful for this particular frequency. So it's going to be a lot of that. And then more protests. So this is, I understand that this may sound like a paradox because we have this new love frequency that we're going into. But because of that and the conflict that's going to create, we are going to be seeing more protests. That's not going to end anytime soon. A lot of civil unrest. That's not going to end anytime soon. It's actually going to feel like it's getting more intense. Now, when I saw this, and I had this download, I had a picture in my mind's eye of all men. So there's going to be a large protest that is all men. Now, all I can say is that I couldn't tell you what that was. I don't know. I sincerely hope that it's not a KKK, pro-Trump January 6th insurrection type deal. Don't really know. But I just saw in my mind's eye one particular protest that was made up of all men, and I don't particularly know what that means yet, but that's going to be a thing. But in general, you're going to see a lot more protests, and these protests are going to have more issues attached to them. So as right now, you see your standard Black Lives Matter, right? LGBT rights, and now we have Asian hate. What you're going to see is the creation of more hashtags, right? So it's going to just be new issue after new issue after new issue after new issue, where people are going to be coming out talking about their struggle and whatever sort of minority group that they are in. And this has a lot to do with the planet and the consciousness writing itself in terms of frequency and the shifting, right? In order for us to write that and to fix that and correct that, we do as a collective need to be aware of all the issues that exist presently within society. And so a natural effect of that is seeing more people come out speaking openly and honestly about the struggles and the things that they're actually dealing with. So you're going to see more protests and more civil unrest, and these are going to be people's way of trying to force that change. Also here, unfortunately, I have higher rates of self-harm and higher rates of suicide. So what I need from you guys more than anything is to really pay attention to your mental health. It's going to hurt, you guys. It's going to hurt for a minute, and it's going to feel like you're going crazy. The energy right now is in such a place that it's people, not everyone's going to make it. People are going to crack, and it's going to be your job not to allow yourself to crack. And if you feel yourself cracking, that now that I'm giving you this knowledge and you have the awareness of what's going on, that you give yourself 3 days to fall apart, and then on Monday morning you pull yourself back together. Okay? Because by 3 days I mean the weekend. That's what I do. Whenever I have a meltdown, I time it for the weekend, and then I like wake up on Monday, take a shower, and I move on. But like, it's going to hurt. It's going to feel hard. And you're going to feel lost. You're going to be in a place where you're going to feel like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I don't want to do this. Some of you are going to feel a little stuck. This is normal. This is natural. This is a part of the process. This is part of the collective process. What's happening is not everyone's going to make it, right? Energetically, we're weeding out the people that can make it and the people that won't make it. And in order to ascend, you have to exude a little bit of strength, right? And a little bit of willpower in order to transcend this. Because as we move into higher frequencies, what's going to happen is that we are going to be subjected to these lower frequencies harsher, right? You're going to feel its pull harder. It doesn't mean that it's pulling on you, right? What it means is that because you have now sort of tasted, or you've grown awareness of a higher frequency, the denseness and the heaviness of the lower frequency is going to be more palpable to you. You'll have the ability to feel it more and sense it more, and it's going to feel harder, right? It's not that it's getting harder, it's that you have a more of an awareness of the fact that it exists. And so I need you to hold on. People are going to have a very hard time during this time, and they're going to start trying to self-harm. People are going to start falling into addiction patterns and their addiction issues. So if that is something that you feel like you struggle with, then I highly advise that you create a plan for yourself, because we're going into a period of time that's going to feel a little rough. Okay, but that's going to go, those rates are going to go up, unfortunately. And so if you have people around you in your life that you feel like may be vulnerable to this, then I would highly suggest that you just check in on them. Fourth wave. Oh, this is fun. This is also something that I actually hope that I'm wrong on. But I don't know, I've been sensing it for a while, and it is what it is. So by the way, guys, COVID isn't going away anytime soon. I've said this in a different video, 2023. It is what it is. Get mad if you want to. I don't care. I don't understand why people are walking around as if we're no longer in a pandemic. I think what has happened is that people see that the rate of people dying is lower, and so they think we're in the clear without accepting the fact that people are still dying. I don't care if the number of people that have died today is lower than yesterday. The fact that people are dying at all is a major, major, major issue, and it's not gonna go away, right? So we do have a fourth wave that's coming. I also highly sense that it's not this Delta wave that everyone's talking about. Couldn't tell you what the name of the wave was. I don't know, but I do sense that there's another wave coming. For everybody in the US, don't hold me to this, but I don't know. I get a little psychic sense that there could be another stimmy. I don't know. Let's move on. Okay. Also, aliens, more aliens. Every time I do this video, I say it every time. More aliens. You're going to see so many more government dumps of information and documentation of them talking about unidentified craft, which is crap. This identified. We know what the craft is. I want you guys to understand one thing is these documents are being dumped before their declassification date. So I want you guys to be aware of this too. I also want you guys to be aware of the fact that some of that is misinformation, right? Some of that isn't real at all. Some of these stories that are being dropped are doctored, right? To redirect, call it the old smoke and mirrors. but you're going to be seeing a lot more things in general about aliens, and it's going to happen so much so that it's going to start being spoken about regularly on television, right? So what happens is when there's a dump of UFO, what happens is that you get a news outlet that picks it up. Maybe they talk about it for 5 minutes, they move on, but then maybe another news outlet picks it up, they talk about it for 6 minutes, and then they move on, and then CNN picks it up, and then maybe they've only talked about 2 minutes, but then they move on. What's happened is when you do that, then it starts making its way to mainstream media, right? And then so as it starts doing that, it becomes a normal topic in a conversation. Oh, did you hear about that UFO? What do you think about aliens? And so what happens, you're going to notice that the idea of aliens and talking about aliens freely and publicly is going to become less and less and less and less and less and less and less taboo, but more people are going to be talking about aliens. You're going to have more influencers on YouTube talking about aliens, particularly people talking about contact with other species and other civilizations. And also, guys, forget about this whole alien invasion thing. That's crap. We're not going to be in. First of all, I want to point out the fact that they have other things to do than invade the Earth. I find this to be a very archaic, boring planet. They have other things to do. Second thing, you guys, they exist already on Earth. Oop. Do I need to give you a minute to process what it is that I just said because they're here already? By the way, not all of them are green or little and gray, right? Like some species look just like us. Okay, so it's very possible that you could have walked past one on the street that looked like a human, and you wouldn't have known that that's what happened. It is what it is. They've already been here. It is what it is. Now, also, by the way, you can find information on this. People have been blowing the whistle for ages when it comes to things like this. This is not new information, but just know that that's what it's going to be. And then also, another thing that I have, which is like not fun, but there's going to be an increase in surveillance and censorship. So, and we're talking worldwide in all major governments. Surveillance is going to be a huge thing. Censorship is going to be a huge thing. There's going to be more debates in the U.S. over First Amendment rights and different things like that, freedom of speech, what that looks like, yada, yada. That's going to be a big deal, but surveillance is going to be huge. We are going to get to a point where everywhere you look, there's going to be a camera in your face, facial recognition, different things like that. We will be at a point, I mean, we kind of are there now, but at this point, it'll be in your awareness where nothing you do will be private. Right. And so if you are someone that really values your privacy, I would highly recommend that you have a look at your social media habits and what that looks like. And I would also recommend that just be mindful about what you post, essentially being like, if someone a year from now pulls up a YouTube video like me and they go, hey, you said this, make sure you're in a place within yourself where you can shrug and you'll be like, and right? Like if you're not there yet, then find a way to get there. And if you don't think you can get there, try to figure out a way how to limit your presence. So those are my notes. I have no idea what was channeled in the last video, and I'm sure all of it would have been beautiful. But oh no, that's not right. I do. Okay, identity theft. That's something I didn't write down, but that was a thing. That's gonna go up, by the way, you guys. Identity theft is gonna be a thing going forward. It's going to have a lot. It's going to be tied into this issue that we have with sort of hacking. Now, one thing that I'm going to sort of remind you guys of, we did move into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is very sort of techie, is technologically advanced, right? So when you move into an age that's all about technology, then it's only natural that people find ways to manipulate technology in a way that it works best for them, right? And with that comes hacking and things like fraud. And one of the biggest things that you're going to start noticing is going to be issues around identity theft. That's going to be a thing that's going to it's just going to start getting out of control. So no worries there. When I talk to you guys about this, what I'm really just doing is trying to equip you guys with a level of awareness. None of this is meant to be of concern to anyone. It's not meant to scare you or spook you or anything. It's meant for you guys to go, oh, that's what we got? all right, like, let me do the following things in order to prepare myself. So you either A, create like preemptive measures, right? So you create systems within yourself or your home, within your family, where you prevent things like this from affecting you negatively, or you are in the right mental state of mind to deal with something should it happen, right? They're not meant to scare you. It's meant to equip you. So, yeah, so that is going to be the end of this video. And before I let you go, I do want you guys to check out the links in the description box below. If you like what you see, please subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and I will see you all soon.